Okay. Now what I did is we have a word problem. We're going to set up an equation, and then we are going to solve it. So the world's largest passengers plane, the Airbus A380, was first used by Singapore Airlines in 2005. The following description appeared on a news web site after the plane was introduced. That airline will see the A380 transporting some 555 passengers, 139 more than a similar setup 747. How many passengers will a similarly setup 747 transport? Okay, so we have an Airbus, right? And then we have a 747. So if we take, so let's give it a variable. So let's use A for 747 airplane. So that means that's how many passengers fit on a 747. So it says 555 passengers, 139 more than a similar setup 747. So if we take A, how many passengers are we going to add to a 747? What does it say?
139 more.
139. And how much does the Airbus hold? How much will that hold? So we have our 747 plus 139, that equals the Airbus. We're trying to figure out how many the 747 holds. So that's our equation, and now what are we going to do?
Subtract the 139 from it.
We're going to subtract the 139. So how many passengers were a similar setup 747 transport? It should transport 416 passengers. So we'll put 416 passengers. Okay. Why are two-step equations called two steps? Yep, it takes the variable. It takes 2 steps to isolate the variable. So number 5 is the only one that we're going to write out in a verbal sentence, and then the rest we're just going to solve, okay? You guys, it doesn't matter which side the variable's on. You're still going to do the same thing. Okay, so what does this mean? So I have negative 4m plus 5 equals negative 23. How can I write that in a sentence? Let's start with just the negative 4m. What does that mean? Negative 4 times m. So let's think, is there a way that we could write negative 4m without using the word times?
The product of negative 4 and m.
The product of negative 4 and, not m, and a number. What can we use instead of add or plus? What's another word that we use maybe in number 1? Not a good time to be on your cell phones. How about increased? By what?
5.
And what does the equal sign, what do we use? Is what? Negative 23. Okay. So that's what you're going to see. So that's a, what?
Yeah,
Oh,
5.
increased by 5. Thank you. Increased by, oh, thank goodness I could fit it in there. Hey, guys, don't forget the 5 right there. Thanks, hybrids, bees. Okay, you ready? Now, what's the first step I need to do? So when you think of order of operations, we always go multiplication and division and then adding and subtracting. When we solve equations, we're going to do all of our adding and subtracting first. So what's the first thing we're going to get? What's the first thing we're going to move?
We're moving plus 5.
And if it's plus 5, we're going to,
Subtract.
yep. Negative 23 and negative 5, they're both negative, so it's negative 28. And now what are we going to do? Now remember, this is the product, so this is multiplication. So what's the inverse of multiplication? So we're going to divide by negative 4 now. So it's either going to add and subtract first. You'll either add or subtract, then you'll multiply or divide. And m equals, because these cancel out because they're multiplicative inverses, negative 28 divided by negative 4 is positive 7. Let's do number 7 together, and then tomorrow we'll finish up 6, 8, and 9. No, let's do number 6, and then tomorrow we'll do 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so you guys, tomorrow you're gonna finish up 7, 8, and 9 with me, but right now we're gonna finish up 6, and then that will be it for the day. What am I gonna do first on number 6?
Add the 7.
Add 7. Remember, you do the opposite. Since 7 is being subtracted, we're gonna add. They cancel out. I'm left with 11. M equals 34. I'm going to divide by 11. You guys, 34 over 11 doesn't go in, so we're just going to leave it as 34 over 11. That is a great answer. You don't have to do anything else. Okay, make sure you get your notebooks together.